Okay, so guys, let's continue yesterday's session. I was talking about the Jenkins job creation and what are all the options available in the Jenkins job to perform the continuous integration build. So as part of the continuous integration build, we need to perform several tasks like checking out the code, performing the build, running the unit test, and reporting the unit test. And if you look at this was the first job which you created. Just click on that job and you can see the history of the job here, from the day one build, 1 2 3 4, these called the build numbers, and the red color status is a failed one and the blue is a successful one. And I talked about all these options. What do you mean by changes? What changes has been done in this build? Okay. And what do you mean by workspace? Workspace is nothing but the source code which has been checked out in the slave, right? It will show you in a browser format here. If you want, you can download and you can view the data. And build now is a button which will trigger the build. Okay. And delete is a button which will delete the project, but don't delete it by mistake also. It's not a spin or git to retrieve it back. It's once it is deleted, delete it. Okay. So configure is a option where you can perform multiple configurations and you can add extra features to your job. Okay. So in this configuration page, we have gone to the most important configurations to perform our job, and apart from that, it has few more features. Okay. Those are kind of like the optional features. Anyway, I'll go through them optional as well. Just let's list down one by one all of them. Okay. So under the general tab, you know what you mean by project name and the description. Okay. So what exactly is discard old bills? Okay. Let me give a scenario where if you have like 2000 bills here and which is consuming more space on your slave. Okay. You don't want the 1 year before or 2000 history bills. If you have last 10, that is more than enough for you. So if you want to keep last some number of bills, okay, that configuration you can give it. I want to keep last 5 bills. Okay. Just apply. Okay. And sorry, did I give days or days to keep? Guys, this is days. In case if you want to consider the category as a days, number of days bills you want to keep, you keep 5 over there. Okay. If you want to keep only last 5 bills, then give it in the maximum number of bills to keep. Right, now you have 10 bills, right? Let's try to perform another build. Okay, guys, did you observe this? How many bills it is keeping now? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Total 5. So it keeps those many number of bills in your dashboard and remaining it will delete it. Okay, this is just to save the space. So you can change this. Okay, if you try to give 5, right, it considers based on days. Okay, now if you look at the history is based on you are yesterday's February 13, February 14. Okay, now I don't have a almost. Okay, I'll do one thing. I think I can have last 1 day bills. Okay, I can give 1 day, so it will just give 1 day. Just give one and remove this, apply, save it, and try to build. It should keep last 1 day's bills. Yeah, guys, today is 14th, 13th. In case if you have any 12th build, right, you are deleted. Okay, so 1 day nothing but it just consists 24 by 7, 24 hours at least. Okay, so I don't think we cannot delete this one, because this we can delete it only 6:49 is the time, right now. I mean, this is 6:49 when we triggered yesterday. Right now the time is 6. After 6:49 this will be deleted, guys. Okay, so I cannot reduce less than 1 day here. That's a simple discard old build option. Okay, I'm just unchecking this. And GitHub projects. So in case if you have a GitHub projects, right, so you can add it here. It's optional, guys. You can add the GitHub URL over there in your source code management section as well. There's no harm in it. You can just add it over here as well. Okay, and the most important one is that this build is a parameterized. Okay, so what do you mean by parameterized build is, in case, okay, if you want to feed some inputs to your job, okay, from runtime, and from runtime, instead of building it just by building it, right, you can pass some parameters. Example, I would say, see right now which target you are calling package. Okay, suppose if you want to call a target called install, or suppose you wanted to call a target called compile. So if you want to have a choice of passing your target value, okay, as an input, you can do that. Okay, so what you're supposed to do it to perform that is select an input parameter and choose the string. Okay, I want to pass a string or what you can do it you can choose a drop down as well. Okay, drop down is a much better one, which is choice. Okay. Target. Okay, what target you want it? Do you want it to compile, or do you want it to package, or do you want it to install? Okay, or do you want it to test? So these are all the targets available in the Maven. So I'm just creating a drop down which target you want to install. Now this target is there, right? This is something like a variable, guys, and it has a value, and this variable I'll try to replace it in the goal section like this. If you put it like this is nothing but it will replace the build parameter, okay, which is target. Apply and save it. Now you try to build it. It is not build now. It is build with parameters. Can you see this? And it will show you an option which what exactly you want to perform now. Do you want to compile it? Do you want to package? Okay, you want to test it. I want to just compile. Just build it and see now. See, it is just compiled, nothing else it did it. So, but actually you have a post build action publish unit test reports. You cannot publish the unit test report if you don't test it. Am I right? See, this is just a compilation one. That's the reason it is failing. Okay. Now this time what I will do, I will run the test. Okay. The test will do it actually. The test will run the test cases. Can you see this? It runs the test cases. That's the reason build is successful, because the post build action is supposed to publish the test results on the dashboard. Okay. If you click on this here, you can see the test results here. But previous build, do you see the test results? No, because we didn't perform the test one. So did you understand how we are configuring input parameters? So this is one input parameter. Similarly, you can add n number of parameters. Suppose I wanted to perform a build in a debug mode. Okay. So build mode. Okay. So if you check this, it is true. If you uncheck, false. Something like Boolean parameter, right? So similarly, I can have another parameter called uh, username, okay, like vibrant, okay, and I can have a parameter called password parameter, okay, password, okay. You won't give any default passwords. That's not recommended. And multi-line string format, okay, uh, description, something like that, okay. Now you click on build parameters. Guys, can you see this? You prepared such a nice form to your build job where you can feed your input, okay, and you can uncheck the build mode, and you can write some data over here, okay, description. So it's all up to you guys what kind of input you want to provide. This will give you all the web website widgets. Actually, these are the widgets, okay, text box, text area, password. This is the password parameter. Whatever you type it here, it is not visible, but it will take the actual value, okay. So all these things you can configure as a build parameters, but while making use of them, you have to make use dollar flower basis and the name of your build parameter. If you want, I can show you by printing those values as well. Okay, so I cannot make use it in my Maven build script. Okay, because I cannot I won't be able to do anything with those inputs. Okay, instead I can make use of the shell, another build script. See, you can add a number of build tools here. I added ant. Now immediately after that I can add a shell. Say build params. You can write a shell commands over here, and you can say build parameters. Now I wanted to print the target. Okay, dollar flower braces target. You can print it easily, right? Now similarly, you can print username. What is the username, guys? It's a username only, right? Username, and this is password, and this is description. Just cross check it out. It is case sensitive. Description, username, password. Okay, pcaps, and username n is caps. Okay. Look at this, guys. Now I'm trying to build this now. So I gave a password as a Harry@123 guys. You don't see that, okay? Hello, this is a CA2. Okay, right. Now you perform test, compile, and look at the log. And after the Maven build, right? Can you see this? Build params. What is target? Test. What is user? Vagrant. Okay. What is password? Yeah, it will not print password, guys. It's not recommended to print the password. Okay. It will not print it. So description. What is description? Hello, this is CA2. Can you see the output here, guys? So this is how it works. And the password you can use it in your scripts, but you cannot print it on the console. Remember. So this is all about the build parameters. In case if you want to configure build parameters. Throttle builds. I never see this in earlier Jenkins. What is throttle builds? Enforces a minimum time between builds based on the design master build. This does not enforce an average rate. Let's say. Okay, this seems to be like a feature borrowed from the Bamboo. Actually, in Bamboo, what happened exactly? It calculates the average time of the build based on your last build time. Okay, so example, select this time period, approximately 60 minutes between builds. Number of builds, 2. The maximum number of builds allowed within the fiscal. Okay. So what exactly throttle builds is? Suppose you wanted to keep in a day, in an hour. Okay, let's take in an hour. Okay, you wanted to perform maximum of 30 builds. So each build should be less than 2 minutes actually. Okay, so suppose if you wanted to perform 31 build, it will not perform it. Okay, so that's a feature. It seems to be a new feature, not that much useful. It's self-explanatory. You look at the documentation, and another beauty of Jenkins is if something is you install something, you see it in Jenkins, right? Everything about the documentation you can find right hand side corner with a question mark symbol, help symbol. This is what the help symbol. You can just click on it, you can read what exactly it is. Okay, and just click on it, you can read what exactly it is. Okay, so the documentation is inline. I don't see any other tool provide such a nice documentation within the tool instead of opening such a big PDF file or looking at the HTML site and all. Okay, so it's a self-explanatory. The entire features in the right side of the your feature, like by clicking on the question mark. So throttle builds seems to be a new feature which just gives you a option to trigger certain number of builds in a certain time. Okay, so that's a feature. You can just try it out, guys. It's 1 hour, nothing, but I cannot demonstrate right at the moment. I don't see anything within a minute. Okay. Next, disable this part is a simple option. If you disable it, it is not eligible to build it. Okay, you don't see build button. Can you see build button here? You don't see build button. Okay, and you don't see it is enabled. It says disable. If you want to enable it again, just enable it. Simple option. Next, execute concurrent builds. What do you mean by execute concurrent builds? It's just like that and say yes. Build. When you trigger 2 times build, is it building the second time? Okay, it is not building. It's always one by one. The reason why it is always one by one is go to your slave. Click on configure. How many executors at a time, guys? Here only one. So your agent is not allowing more than one build at a time. Okay, so if you try to increase that to 2, right, save. Now you check it out, this build 2 times. Guys, did you see 2 builds are going at a time now? This is called concurrent build at a time, parallel build. This is a simple feature. Next, where this project can be executed, Linux agent. Okay, so here, right, instead of one agent, you can create some groups as well. Okay, and those groups we called as the labels in Jenkins. Okay, how to create a label? Let me try to explain you with a diagram so that you can easily understand. So assume I have a Linux slave 1 and Linux slave 2, slave 2, slave 3. Okay, I have 3 slaves. Suppose what happened when I schedule my job in the night, okay, suddenly this slave went offline. What do you mean by went offline is this machine is switched off, okay. Now what happens, my job is looks for this slave actually. If this slave is switched off, okay, let's see what will happen if a slave is switched off. Go to your Linux agent, disconnect, okay. Notes. Guys, what happened to your Linux slave actually, Linux agent? It is disconnected. Okay. So now you come back to your project and try to build. Can you see what is happening? Pending. Linux agent is offline. If it is offline, it cannot run it. Now look at the diagram. Suppose if it is offline, right? In the midnight, nobody will wait for see whether the build is gone fine or not. Next day morning, once you come, you still see the job is lying in the queue. So to avoid that, what you can do it, instead of mapping to one slave, you can map it to all the slaves available with the help of a concept called grouping. Okay. Now what you will do it, instead of directly mapping to your job, you create a group, okay, called as a slave group. Okay. Now what you do it, you add all your slaves to slave group, and what you do, then after you creating the group, this slave group you map it to your job. Okay. So that what will happen in the slave group, it will randomly choose any one of this slave. If this slave is offline, it will choose any one of it. If this slave is offline, it will choose this one. So it tries to look for the online slave. Okay. And if all are online, right, it randomly chooses any one of it. Okay. Now let's try to create a group, and for that I need to have at least 2 slaves to create a group. Go to the nodes. So look at this. I have 2 slaves on master. Okay. Now how to create a group? It's a simple thing. Go to the same slave configure. Can you see label? It's empty. Say slave group. You can add anything, guys. Okay. Say slave group. Now this agent comes under slave group. Okay. And similarly, go to your Windows agent, another agent. Okay. Say this also, say slave group, nothing but now both agents comes under the slave group. Okay. Now you go to your job. Okay. Disconnect this. Okay. Linux agent I disconnected. Now go to your job, configure. Instead of Linux agent, say slave group. Can you see slave group? You just map it with a group. That's it. Now what will happen? Now try to build it. Where it is building, guys? Can you see this? It's building on Windows agent. Did you see this? It is building on Windows agent. Nothing but if that slave is down, it goes to the whichever the available slave. Okay, if that is also down, we cannot help it, guys. Okay, so this is called grouping or labeling. Okay, labeling of slaves. Right. Go to configure section now. The belts are failing. The reason why it is, we removed the belt parameters, right? So it is unable to find the target. Okay, say test. That's it. Hard code it now. That's it. Fine. Now that's about the grouping stuff. And source code management section. Anyway, we are done with this. Okay. If you have SVN, if you have a Git. Okay. If you have something else, like the default Jenkins supports SVN, Git, and earlier in Jenkins used to support CVS actually. I don't see CVS here. Okay. But in case tomorrow your version control system is something else like a Perforce, Mercurial, okay, TFS or ClearCase, your Jenkins supports all of them. Okay, but not directly with the default installation. You have to enable the plugin of respective version controlling system so that will appear over in this configure page. Okay, then you can make use of it. Right now we learned SVN and Git, and both are there in this, so we know to install any plugin at the moment. Next, build triggers. And yesterday I talked about scheduling or build triggers, pretty much same. So we have seen a scheduling of time based. Okay, how typically the builds were triggered on a given nightly time or sometime. Okay. Now apart from time based, there is one more way is there, which is poll SCM. What is poll SCM is? Once you integrate it with your SVN system or Git system, right? Okay. So instead of triggering Look at this is what your diagram, okay, and this is what your SVN, okay. Now when a developer pushes to SVN server, right, the changes will be there. Now you have a requirement something like, not every nightly, okay, trigger build when there is a commit. This is what my requirement. When the developer commits something into the SVN, right, okay, you have to trigger a build. So that can be done with the policy. Now how you do it, the job is there, right, this job you need to hold it for certain time, certain interval, okay. This is what your job. You need to write certain interval saying like, every 1 minute, something like this. Every 1 minute, you look for the SVN for any commits. If there is any commit, trigger the bell. If there is any commit, trigger the bell. Okay. So poll SVN is something like, looking for any SVN changes or git changes. See, right now it is SVN. If it is git. So it looks for those changes and triggers your bell. So again, now the interval for every 1 minute. How do you write every 1 minute, guys? Star, 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 star. This is nothing but every 1 minute. Okay. If you say like, every 5 minutes, this is what 5 minutes, okay. So this is every 5 minutes, let's say every 2 minutes, okay, or every 1 minute, guys, all stars, okay, every 1 minute. One second, let me look at the documentation. This already explained to you yesterday, the minimum maximum values. You can see some examples. Every 15 minutes is 4 stars, h by 15, okay. It says h, okay. Earlier version they put star, but anything is fine, you can mention h, okay. Now every 1 minute it looks for SVN changes and triggers it. Right now 6:15, guys, okay. Okay, the last build is 6:15 and the time is 6:19, okay. Now I'll try to commit something. Echo hello to a.txt. I just committed something. SVN commit hyphen m, some changes to check hold. Now I push something, guys. I committed something. Can you see this is what the 20th build, and 21st build should be automatically triggered because I have committed something, okay. Now keep an eye over here, it will automatically triggers the build, okay. So that's called the poll SCM. We'll see that. Just give 1 minute time, it automatically triggers it. Now come back to your configure section. So apart from that, there is one more way of triggering the build. Trigger build by depending on other projects. So right now I don't have any other project, okay. So what I will do it, I'll try to create a new project, okay. So create a new item, second project. So say like project 2 underscore build, okay. So instead of creating a fresh project, what I can do it, I can copy the existing one. Can you see copy from? You type the first character, you can get the existing already created project, okay. Say copy. Now it's copied all the configurations. You don't need to do anything. Everything is copied, okay. Completely copied. Did you see this? Apply, save it, finish. Now go back to this, okay. So okay, it still didn't do the build, right? Okay, think about the project 2, guys. Okay, project 2 is here. Now project 2 is dependent on project 1, okay. Dependent on project 1 nothing but once the project 1 is successfully completed, project 2 should be automatically triggered. So build triggers. Can you see build other projects? So once a project 1 is successfully built, select the project. You can select multiple as well. Apply and save it. Look at this, project 2, I'm not triggering it. This will be automatically triggered by project 1 if the project 1 build is successful. Now let's see what is the project 1 status. Okay, project 1 should be automatically triggered actually. You can see the subversion polling as well. Polling has not run yet, so it didn't trigger it yet, okay. So did we put the right times? H star 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 every 1 minute. It would have been triggered by now actually. Would have run at Tuesday 6:11. The next, oh, sorry, 7:11. Oh, guys, it is hourly. 6:11, 7:11. Who will wait till 7:11? Okay. Say let's h by 1. Okay, every 1 minute, h by 1. Will it work? Solution following. Let's see now. What is the, okay, would I learn that? 6:11. Why it is still showing 7:11? Let's say star. Do you really every minute when you say star, perhaps you mean X to poll once per hour? These guys change. 6:22, 55 would run at 6:22. What's the time now? 6:23. Okay, this should trigger actually. Yes, guys, it is star only, not H and all. H is hourly one. Did you see 21st build is triggered automatically? I didn't trigger this. If you want, you can see. Can you see who triggered this? Started by SCM change. Okay, there is a code commit happened. That's when it triggered it. Now, once this is successful, look at the project 2. This I am not triggering it. Your project 1 will trigger because we put a dependency over there. Right, now come back here. Refresh, keep refresh. Can you see this? The project 2 build is automatically triggered. The reason is it has a dependency with the project 1. Okay. So for this, the upstream project is project 1, and for this, the downstream project is project. Okay, those are the three important ones. Trigger builds remotely. This is using script, guys. In case if you wanted to trigger this build with the help of any script, okay, with the curl command and all, you can do that. Okay, you just provide some authentication token and make use of this. Jenkins URL, nothing but this is what your Jenkins URL, and provide job project, which project you wanted to trigger it, and provide the token. That's it. Okay, so this you can do with the curl statements and all, in case if you want to try with some scripts and all. Okay, build after other parts of build. This is done. Yeah. Next, build environment. So in build environment, delete workspace before build start. This is something like cleaning up your workspace. Okay, so you can choose that. It will delete your existing workspace, guys. Okay, so if you wanted to delete everything, it will delete, or if you want to have some patterns, it will delete only those parts. About the build, if it's stuck. About the build, if it's stuck, nothing but suppose if a build is stuck more than 3 minutes. Okay, timeout is 3 minutes, so it will just abort it. I cannot demonstrate at the moment all these simple options. You just try it out, guys. Okay, there are n number of options are there. Add timestamps to console output. What? Okay, this I can show it to you. Add timestamp to console output. What exactly it means is, you look at this. Okay, did you see any timestamp here when it is started, when it is finished? You don't see it. Okay, now after adding that, you try to build it now. Can you see timestamp 6:25, 31, 35 seconds, 36 seconds? This is called like adding a timestamp to your console output. That's it, nothing else. Use secret text or file. Check it out, guys. This seems to be some new option. Okay, read the document, you will be knowing it. Because these are in the latest version, not in the last table version. Next, build systems. Okay, build tools. So when it comes to build tools, we have seen a maven and a shell. Okay, we can run the bash prompt as well in case if your agent is a Windows node. And yep, the rest of all like ant, it. In case if it is ant script, put the ant targeting. Okay, and the default build script is a build.xml. If you want, you can pass some properties as well. We don't have ant script at the moment. Okay. Next, post-build actions. Under post-build actions, we have seen the publishing the generate reports. Apart from that, we can send some emails as well. Can you see email? Okay. So, but to perform this, what you need to do it, you need to have a SMTP server configured in your organization. Okay, then only you can send it. Suppose I can send it to my email ID. I'm not sure I can give a demonstration of this, the sending an email account. Let me see it, guys, whether Gmail works fine or not. I'm just checking it with this. So you need to configure SMTP server under manage Jenkins, configure system. Okay, So go to the configure system, go to email. Okay, can you see SMTP server here? So you need to provide your SMTP server details. So I think for Gmail we can try it out. I have some dummy email account. We'll see. Gmail SMTP settings. smtp.gmail.com is the host name. Copy this. I'm just trying it out. If it works, that's great. Because for Gmail they made more secure. To make use of anything, it's you need to enable something. But let's see. Gmail.com. Next. Is it a secure? Use list user? No. Extended email verification. Click on advanced. Yeah, SSL. Is it a HTTPS one? Yes. Use SMTP authentication. So you should have a spam address, right, to send an email. So I think I have one spam address. We can test that by sending a test email. It should be there. Oops, running in a wrong one. I think not here, guys. All this should go at the down. SMTP notification server, default SMTP, gmail.com. Remove from here. This is not the one. Use SSL. Okay. Test by sending a test email. If this works, I can show you the demonstration of whether it sends an email or not. Chiranjeevi.gmail.com test configuration. Is it sending? No, mail failed. The port number is missing. What is the port number, guys? Port number 465. You can see this here. 465. I got an alert, guys, because I use this with some malicious one. Nice. Configure. Go to manage Jenkins. Again, configure. Last trial. We'll see in this time if it works. That's great. Test configuration. No, it is failing. Authentication exception. Maybe security alert. Review blocked sign in attempt. Okay, I think I would have given the wrong password, guys, from this account actually. I'm not having any other account. Nope, same issue. Okay, no issues. We'll not waste time more here, guys. This is how we configure actually. So we don't use Gmail in organizations. You check with your IT team. They'll provide you emails, service details, and all. Okay. So come back to your job. And in your job, if you want to send some emails, okay, go to the post build action. You provide this email ID. It tries to it will send it to this email account. Okay, and it sends to this email account only when there is a build failure, guys. Okay, otherwise it will not send it. If you want, I can show you that by saying the build failure. Let's say like exit 1. What do you mean by exit 1? Build fail. Okay, and let's see. It will not send an email. It will fail, but it attempts to send an email. That I can show you in the log. Can you see this? It is attempting to sending an email. Authentication failure exception. So that's okay. It's authentication failure, but Is it attempting or not? Okay, sending an email to chiranjeev.exe, right? This is what I want to show you. That's a post build action. Okay, so this is all about like what are all the options, most important options available. And there's one more, is the archive artifacts. What is archive artifacts? Is in case if you want to provide the artifact, okay, the build artifact, you can provide that. Say like star.jar. So I want to archive the artifacts. Say if you say that target/star.jar, try to build now. Okay, it will fail. I need to remove that mail part and as well as exit one. Remove this exit one and remove the email section. Apply, save it, build now. No artifacts present. Let me see why no artifacts present in the workspace under target. Oh yeah, it's correct, right? Why there is no jar file, guys? What you're trying to build, generating actually, you're running the test, but you're not running a package. You have to run a package to generate a jar file, right? So it's valid. Now you try to trigger the build. So it is unable to find a jar file. That's the reason it is failing. This should go fine now. Yes. Now see this. Is it pulling the hello world -0.2.jar? The jar file. This is what archiving. Now if you click this, it will download the jar file. If somebody wants to download the binary, and they can download it from there. That's called archiving your artifacts with the help of the Jenkins job. Okay, but make sure you archive the required one. If you try to archive unnecessarily all the files, right, it consumes more space on your master server, because it moves from slave to master actually, these archive files, because for every build it maintains that archive file. And email editable okay, this editable email notification is an advanced one. If we could able to configure email, then we can configure this as well. This is something like whom do you want sending email, okay, especially like when do you want to send an email, okay. All this detailed configuration is there for any failure, or only to developers, only to whom do you want a special recipient list. So it's all about configuring your reporting. That's it, nothing else. Okay, and you can send some HTML content as well if you want. Okay, so there should be an HTML way of HTML email, nothing but you can see a nice table format kind of emails. Okay, so yeah, here it is. Default is HTML, right? If email is working, then we can see all this stuff, but our email is not working at the moment. Just ignore it. Delete workspace when build is done. So this just deletes it. Either you use this, or in the beginning you seen, right, clean up the workspace before the build. That is also fine. Set build status on GitHub commit deprecated. Okay, this you can ignore it, guys. In case if you're using GitHub, you will be making use of this. Okay, recording fingerprints is not required. Build other part. This is something like triggering other builds. Okay, so once this build is stable enough, suppose you want to trigger the project 2 build. Okay, you want to trigger the project 2 build. Apply, save it. Now when I build this, right, okay, this will automatically trigger your project 2 build. Okay, that can be implemented as a post build action, or that either that can be implemented the post build, or that can be implemented with your build dependency build. Okay, you go to the second job and you can put a dependency. Anything is fine. Now you click this, you can see this is triggered. So these are all the important options available in your Jenkins job configure page. This is what I want to discuss with you. Okay, so yesterday's options are the most important and mandatory, and today whatever I discussed in now are the kind of optional but important. Okay, will be useful to streamline your job. Okay, so to make it the job proper. Come back. So this is what a simple job. Similarly you can create n number of jobs for each and every project. So typically our jobs will look like this. Suppose if there is one project, okay, for that project you might be having a CA build, okay, and for the same project you might be having a nightly build, and the same project you might be having some other release builds. Okay, so you might have for one project there might be 3 jobs. Okay, Suppose that 20 parts are there. Okay, if think about if 20 parts, this page will like fill up like anything. You will be having a scroll bar and you just scroll it. Instead of that, okay, you can create some views. Can you click on this? Okay, say like project 2 view. Okay, and choose this, and under the project 2 view you can select what all the parts you want. Right now we have only 2, but you can select it actually. Now what happens when you say project 2 view, under project 2 view we have only this project 2 builds. Okay, now next thing, this is project 1 view, project 1 view. Okay, and select only project 1. Okay, all the project 1 related. Now look at this project 1 view of project 1, project 2 view, project 2 builds. Okay, when you click on all is a default available, you can see all the builds. Okay, this is something like tabbing guys, in a browser tabbing. Okay, you can create all this. In case if you want to edit the views, you can edit it. Click on edit and you can just add the things. This is all about the job creation. And next part. So once this is done, I want to get into the manage Jenkins stuff, guys. Okay, so under the manage Jenkins, as a Jenkins administrator, as a CA implementer, it's your job to administrate the Jenkins properly. Okay, and provide the right access to the people. Okay, and also install the right features in the Jenkins. Okay, and also try to implement the continuous integration with the Jenkins. So now I'll walk you through with all these important features. And I mean, this whatever you see it in the manage Jenkins, right? These are all the admin features. Okay, only an administrator can see this. Okay, so now you might be thinking you are admin, but how about the others? Okay, how do they log in? So for that you need to enable the security system on your Jenkins. Right now there is no security system on your Jenkins, so let's try to enable that. Go to configure global security, the second option, enable security. So this is enabled, but only thing is only logged in users can do anything, nothing but the admin can do anything. Okay, but I don't want that. I want a proper access. So there is one option called matrix based security. So with the help of this, what you can do it, for admin you provide full permissions. Okay, provide full permissions to admin. Okay, right. Now try to create a user. So creating a user can be done with the help of an option called manage users. Can you see manage users? Try to create a user. Now I want to create a user called Harry, 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 Harry at the rate gmail.com. Create a user. Now I created a user. Now for this user I want to give an access. Now go to config global security. Here, look at this. Admin is having full access. Okay, he is having overall access, credential access, agent access. Okay, job access, blah blah blah. Everything, entire Jenkins, he can manage it. Now when it comes to Harry, enter Harry. Now Harry, what access you want to give? I want to give only read-only access overall. Okay, and even on the jobs also I want to give only read-only access. Can you see read-only anywhere here? Read-only, read-only, read-only. Yes, read-only. That's it. I don't want to give anything else. Apply and save it. Done, guys. Now try to open a new browser. Now treat this guy as a Harry. Okay, he wants to access the Jenkins. Of course, the home page is the login username password. Now Harry, enter. Can you see this guy cannot see manage Jenkins anywhere here? Can you see those options are disabled? Okay, and when you click on the this project job, you don't see delete button, build a button, configure button, nothing you'll see. It's a completely read only. Okay, now in case if you wanted to provide this Harry only a particular access, that can be done with the same page over here. Suppose I want to give build access to Harry, so go to the job. Can you see build here? Select this. Okay, if you select that, apply and save it. Now come back here, try to refresh with Harry. Now can you see build button now enabled? So this is how you can play around with the access policies in your Jenkins. It's pretty easy compared to your SVN and all. Okay, giving an access and all, everything is there in the configurable security. That's about the security part, guys. As an admin you can play around, you can give the different types of access to the people. Configure credentials. This we already done actually. Only thing is not directly. We did it with the help of no, not here. Credentials. Yeah. Can you see this credentials? We created the Vagrant credential and we created Harry credentials. Okay. So this is something like a keychain, guys. Keychain nothing but the same credential set we can make use it everywhere in the Jenkins. Okay. So typically where you use it, I'll show you an example. We already seen that in one of the job, the keychains. Can you see this? Credentials? All those will appear here. Whatever you configure there. That's it. That's what the credentials are. Global tool configuration also, we came here to configure the Maven, guys. Okay, so I configured yesterday a Maven, my Maven something. Okay, if you wanted to have some custom version of, like, you can install any custom version. Okay, similarly, if you wanted to have your ant, okay, you can say my ant, something like this, and say apply, save, and go back to your job. Okay, and click on configure. Just come down and try to use the build tool, and when you add that, right, apart from default, you can see your configured ant version as well. See why this feature is enabled, because so tomorrow there are two projects are there. One project is using version 1.7 ant, another project is using version 1.8 ant. Okay, in a build machine you have 1.7, so nothing but what the other project will fail. So instead of that, you can put both the versions in the server, and you can manage the version path with the help of the different versions in the Jenkins. Okay, that's how you can manage. So that you need to maintain only one Jenkins instance, like instead of having the multiple Jenkins instance for multiple projects. So reload configuration from disk. This is something like refreshing your entire history of your jobs. Okay, so sometimes what happens, it will not pull all the history from your disk. So if you run this, it will refresh your Jenkins. It will just scans down entire your Jenkins. Takes a couple of seconds based on the size of your Jenkins workspace. It's pretty quick now because we don't have much jobs here. Manage plugins is an important topic of Jenkins. The Jenkins is popular in the market only because of it supports n number of plugins. Okay, this I'll come back at the end, guys. Let me finish off the rest of them. Rest of them are very tiny ones. Okay, so system information is all about your master information. All the configurations, you can see it here. Okay, so what all the configs are there here about the environment variable, the system variables, everything you can see it of your master. It's just information purpose. That's it. System log is your Jenkins master log. In case if you want to have a look at the log of your master server, you can see that. I don't think this is much useful because you can see the same log in your server as well. Okay, you go to the server, you can find log file. Statistics is all about how good your Jenkins is performing, performance wise especially. Okay, you can see the timeline here bottom. Okay, and you can see the graph when it is slow, when it is fast, the performance when it is bad. Okay, so busy execute, can you see red color? These are the busy executors. So that point of time it was really busy, and ideal is this one. Okay, and the blue is online executor. So you can find some sort of a graph. Not so useful. Okay, Jenkins command line is a really nice feature in case if you wanted to script down the Jenkins execution. What exactly I'm trying to say is, in case you are writing some script to integrate the Jenkins with some other third-party system. Okay, you want to trigger a build. Okay, with the help of a script. So the Jenkins command line interface is really useful. How it works, I'll show you now. Download this Jenkins CLI.jar. Okay, and Control X. Go to your DevOps folder. Just put it here. Just a second, guys. Let me close my website. Okay. CMD Java-jar Jenkins. Just copy this. I need to pass the username password, guys. Hyphen username admin hyphen password admin. Yep, this is what the help option. This whatever you see it here, the same thing is shown over here as well. All these options. Okay. Now, if you want to trigger a build, right? Can you see? Click on the build option. So, how to trigger a build? So, you choose a build and the job name. So now let's try to trigger a build now. Okay. So instead of a help, now what I will do it, build. Okay. And which job you want to build it? I want to build the project1 underscore CI build. Project1 underscore CI build. Right? Okay, guys, have a look at this. I'm not triggering from the UI. 27th is the build number over there. Now just enter. Come on. There's no build. Any spelling mistakes, guys? Control C. Okay. Right click. Paste it. Copy paste. Trust in your copy paste. Uh, go to the manage Jenkins. Command line interface. Build. Okay. Build job. That's what I'm doing it. Build job name. Username. Yes. No such job. Proceeding as anonymous. Oh, I think something to do with the currency stuff. Okay. No such job. Let me copy paste the entire stuff. What is the job name? This is what the job name. Did you see any difference? Hi. Okay. Let's not give the username password. Strange. Okay, guys. I'll do one thing. I'll try to disable the authentication for a while, just for a while. Okay. Apply. Oops. I think it seems to be mandatory. In earlier version, like, you could able to do that without any issues, but prevent cross-site. Okay, let's trigger now. Name of the job to build. Okay, this time, yeah, 28. Can you see this? So it triggered the 28th build, but only thing is not with authentication, guys, with anonymous user. So there might be some options to enable with authentication. You just cross check it out, because in earlier version it used to work. I'll also check it out why it is not working with the authentication. Okay, if I enable the security as usual, matrix based, let me add admin everything. Let's see, right. Okay, let's leave it. So that's is for command line interface. Okay, it's not only for triggering the build. You can get many options. You have it with command interface. What exactly the rest of options is, See, with the help of UI, whatever you do it, triggering a build, configuring it, deleting it, okay, all of them you can do it. From command line, you can delete a job as well. You can delete a build as well. You can see all those options at the bottom. So based on your requirement, make use of them by following the syntax, and those commands you write it in your scripts. So yeah, script console, this is like, in case if you're interested in the Groovy scripting, because all the plugins which are there in the Jenkins, they develop with the help of the Groovy and Java. So if you're interested in the Groovy and if you want some interpreter for Groovy, you make use of this. So you can write the Groovy code here and it will execute and provides an output to you here itself. Okay, so I don't think anyone might be interested in writing Groovy. Just ignore it. It's just an option provided in the Jenkins. Manage nodes, you are well aware of it. We have seen in the day one itself. About Jenkins is which version you are using and all, 2.45, and what all the plugins you have it at the moment. In process script approval, this also sees something to do with the Groovy, guys. Just for ignore it for now. Prepare for shutdown is an alert. It's a kind of alarm, like it will show you for everyone saying like, Jenkins is going to shut down in the red color. So what happens if you enable that, right? If anybody is trying to build, just click on the build, okay? It will not trigger any further builds. It's something like a maintenance, okay? So at the time of maintenance, you shouldn't allow any kind of build. So it says like, Jenkins is about to shut down. You're not allowed to like perform the any kind of other operations, okay, build operations and all, okay. Now once you're done with your administration or maintenance activities, go back to manage Jenkins, okay, and just say cancel shutdown, and what are all the things are there in the queue, it will be automatically executed. So that's about the rest of all, and only the one topic left here, which is the plugins, okay. So I need to talk about the plugins. As part of the plugins, I will explain you Sonar, static code, violations, integration with Jenkins. Okay, so I left with these two important topics in Jenkins, which is what are plugins, how to install them, how to make use of them, and what is Sonar and how do we integrate Sonar with our CA build. Okay, these two things we'll see in a tomorrow's session, guys. Tomorrow's session is important, guys, because Sonar is a tool most of the people are asking, like, did you ever integrate into Sonar with Jenkins, and also that will sit in tomorrow's session. Okay, so any questions still here? Kiran, Vamshi, Mahendra, Shashi?
Yeah, Chiranjeevi, I have
Yes,
one
yes,
question.
Shashi.
Yeah, in this regarding pipeline concept is there like in
Pipeline concept
Jenkins?
is there, that I will explain in once the deployment topic is done. See, we will do the continuous delivery pipeline at the end, because right now I don't have a deployment job here. It's only a build job. It's a CA job. Okay, so continuous integration,
Oh,
nothing but only the build, unit test, and reporting. That's it. So static code analysis. If you have a
oh,
deployment stuff, okay, and then we can create a pipeline. Okay.
okay.
Yeah, we'll come.
And
Yeah, we'll come back to Jenkins again at the end of the training.
okay.
Okay.
One more, Chiranjeevi.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, in bill triggering,
Mm-hmm.
you have explained that poll ACM, no?
Yes, yes, you're right.
So for every commit, without poll ACM, we can commit everything. We can trigger a bill without
You mean,
using the poll ACM.
yeah, you can trigger it. You
Means
just
if
disable it. You just directly trigger it.
no, if the when user is commits,
Okay, you
so
mean to
bill can
say
trigger.
instead of polling from Jenkins to SVN, you wanted to trigger from SVN to Jenkins, right? Whenever there is a commit, we want to trigger this, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that can be implemented with the help of hooks in your SVN. That's what I explained in the SVN session. That can be implemented with post commit hook. Okay, in a post commit hook, you need to write a command with the help of Jenkins command interface. Just now I explained, right? This command. This command you need to keep it in your post commit hook, so that whenever somebody commits, right, this command will be executed. Once this command is executed, the Jenkins job is started. That's how you need to integrate.
O- Okay, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Any other questions? Okay. I I hope you are clear. So I'm just closing for now. So we'll catch up tomorrow, guys. Okay. Thank you so much. See you. Good night.